So I want to take the chance here to now open up Q&A for the entire session. Anybody that you have a question for, you can ask your question in the Q&A panel, or if you would like to speak, you can raise your hand and we can call on you there. Anybody have any questions at all for anybody who spoke today? Now's your opportunity to ask those. And after we get those, we will, after we get those remarks, we'll close our session for today. We do have one hand coming up from our panelists. Scott, go right ahead.
Yeah, being polite and raising my hand like school. I want to just point out to especially to the student entrepreneurs who just gave good presentation and good discussion, that you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you're always on. And I think this ties back into what my panel was talking about with pitching and presenting. But understand as an entrepreneur that investors want you to succeed, right? We all would like to see entrepreneurs go forward with good business ideas. So you're pitching to a friendly audience, or at least an audience that's predisposed to be friendly. And that puts, I think, the ball a little bit in your court. But also understand that every one of the investors on this call today knows each other. And we all work together behind the scenes and often on deals that you aren't familiar with, but we all know each other. And that means that we see each other or talk to each other on occasion. And many of us talk about the deals that we're seeing. So what I'm suggesting to you when I say you're always on, you always want to do your best in front of every investor you're with or have a chance to present to, because chances are the ripple effect will touch other investors who might not have been in the audience that day. And just think about that as you're presenting.
All right. Any other questions? Feel free to ask now, guys. Now's your opportunity. Here we have our first question here from Jessica. For Easy Leash, does the braking system also apply to the start of the pup's run so that they can't start at a jolt, but instead start slowly? That was for the Easy Leash. There's Anthony coming back online to answer that.
Thank you, Jessica. That's something that hasn't necessarily been considered. The way that we're looking at it now, we're trying to design the ergonomics so that the natural reaction of the user is to grip the trigger mechanism, so that as soon as the dog does take off, the users naturally know to pull the trigger and slow down the dog. So it does, in that sense, kind of slow down and not give them the ability to build up that momentum. But the device itself doesn't have that feature built in just yet.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Now's your chance. Raise your hand or up. Rich has a question. Rich, go right ahead.
Yeah, this is really for any of the entrepreneurs that want to jump in and provide an answer. You know, as you are looking back, and some of you don't have to look back that far, to when you first started out down this path of entrepreneurship and starting a company, is there anything that you wish you would have known that you know now? Other than somebody trying to talk you out of doing it.
Hey, Rich, I can kick us off here, but I'm sure that these panelists here and other people could probably give a more articulate response than I'm about to give. But my biggest piece that I didn't realize, and this, I'm one of the people who you're talking about, didn't start long ago, was as an entrepreneur from West Virginia who had never raised money. It was my first business, all these things, realizing kind of what Luke hit on at the end there, where, you know, the investor needs you as much as you need them. You know, there's only a particular amount of deal flow coming through the system. And if your company is truly doing, you know, good things, world-changing things that would give them the returns that they're looking for, you kind of get to decide things. It doesn't mean you're gonna, you know, strong arm and push crazy deals that don't work. The idea though is that there's a lot of investors around the world who would want to take part in what you're doing, and so you should be picky about who you choose and making sure that they're subject matter experts and bring something to the table as well. And I think that's been iterated throughout this process. But that's something that a year or two ago I just didn't know about.
That's an outstanding observation.
One of the things I'd like to throw out, Rich, for all the entrepreneurs on the call today is, I'm amazed at how many resources are out there to help entrepreneurs. So I would encourage you all to really understand what resources are available to you and use them. There's a lot of free resources, whether it's how to put together pitch decks or how to talk to angels, board governance. There's just a lot of great resources that are available out there. So I'd encourage you to, find out where they are and to use them.
And I'd like to piggyback onto that. West Virginia is a small state, and I think everybody on this webinar understands that we're not 6 degrees of anybody. We're probably a half a degree. And I think what we're looking at is we are all here to help you succeed, because if you succeed, we as a state succeed. And so we try very hard amongst ourselves to make sure we're not siloed, to make sure that if we can't help you, we're going to hand you off to somebody that is best that we can, that can help you. So don't feel like you need to find the right person to talk to. If you get yourself into any part of this ecosystem, you're going to end up just like all of us have said. We all, Scott said it very well. We talk to each other all the time, and we're talking about you in good ways, because it's like, okay, how can we help them? What can you do? And then we'll come back to you. So just enter the ecosystem. Get that business idea started, put it on the back of a cocktail napkin, let us know how we can help. And I think that's the message that we want to convey to everybody is we are here to help. And I may not be able to help you, but I'm sure I can find somebody that can help you. And as you can see from all the panelists we've had today, we have a vast majority of people with skills and talents that can take your startup or your existing business even further.
Yeah, I think that is a great comment, and maybe a good closing comment for us, Michelle.
We do have one question.
Oh,
Someone's
excellent.
raised their hand to ask a question live. Kevin, I'm going to allow you to talk so you can go ahead and ask your question. Oh, he just put his hand down. Hold on just a second, Kevin. You put your hand down just as I clicked on your name. Kevin, do you still want to ask your question? If you do, raise your hand again.
I don't think it's me. I think it might be Carl.
Actually, it's a Kevin that's an attendee. And he put his hand back down. So he must have gotten his, oh, no, wait, there he is. There he is. I'm going to try again, Kevin. Okay, Kevin, you should be able to talk now if you unmute your microphone.
Sorry about all that. Hi, everybody. My question is actually it's an open question and anyone can answer this, but I'm a new entrepreneur. And right now, I remember you spoke about how important to build your team, right? So any advice on who should you look for in a team member, or who should you build around your team? Or should you have someone that's really good at marketing, that's really good at pitching? Should you have someone that's more in operations, or should you have someone in the business background, or maybe in your niche? So any advice on who I should, surround myself or build my team around?
I'll take,
Right.
Kevin, I'll answer it real quick, and then I'll let others jump in. Here's my advice I always give. Hire what you can't do. So as we're talking to investors and you're talking to mentors or anybody within this ecosystem, we're going to sit down and figure out what are you good at, and you stay in that lane. And then we're going to help wrap you around, or wrap people around you who can backfill what you're not great at, but you're good enough to figure out what you don't know. So I think that's my quick answer.
I would also suggest looking for balance. Michelle's exactly right. Hire what you don't do, but try to identify the critical skills that will be necessary to take your idea to market. And if you don't own that skill, you need to get someone on your team that has that, which also means you can pull advisors onto your advisory board that can also help you with some of those gaps in your skill sets.
I want to see 3 functions filled in a startup team. It doesn't necessarily mean 3 people, but often it is. I want to see someone that understands business administration, that has a sharp pencil and knows how to run the numbers. I want to see someone that understands the technology or the innovation that's being commercialized. And I want to see someone that can sell. And one of those three people needs to be an SOB. And I don't mean that I don't mean they need to be nasty, but they need to be able to hold everyone else's feet to the fire and account. So those are the three functions I want to see. And very rarely do you find all those skills resonant in one person.
At Innovation Works, typically the people who would apply into our pre-seed and seed stage companies, the companies included like 1.5 full-time equivalents. 3 people working part-time came up with the idea. Hopefully they had touched on Scott's 3 requirements. But these were early stage companies raising 25, 50, and 100K, and they needed to get to that next step. So the other issue that we would look at in terms of maturity is, do they know what they don't know? If they do, then they can go and, to Don's point and Scott's point, hire advisors or surround themselves with the people who know that. That shows the maturity to me of a young entrepreneur or a first-time entrepreneur. They've thought about what they can do, what's most important for their business, and they understand the skill sets. And then they can go out and surround themselves with the people to help them accelerate to that next value milestone.
All right, great. Thank you all so much. I don't see any other questions. So Rich, I'll give it over to you to wrap everything up.
Thanks, Joe. And thanks to all of the panelists, all of the participants that were on the panels, the moderators, the funders. What a really great group of people and information that was shared in this event. And I think the overarching, there's a couple of overarching takeaways, but a big one is we are a small community that communicates well with each other, and we're here to help people start and grow their companies. And we are just excited that we're able to bring together the resources and the time and the commitment to help make that happen. So I hope that everyone learned as much from this event as I did, and we're able to help identify some new contacts and new resources that are going to help you with your business. And what we'll be doing after this is we're going to share contact information for the presenters via email post event. And if you have any questions or any needs, please don't hesitate to reach out to us for information. And we are here to help, and look forward to seeing you at our next gathering. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon.